Hi everybody, this is the Keep in Touch briefing for families, students, community for weekend in Friday the 12th of March. So it's the first full week back since the reopening. So just a quick catch up on a couple of things I know that are key to get across to you. So I'm going to talk about the return in general, what it's been like to reopen, how the students have got on. I need to give you an update on the testing and where we're up to with LFD testing. And then a little talk about standards. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit next week now that we've brought people back in after lockdown. And then a specific message for Year 9 students and families around their GCSE choices for September later on this year. Okay. So return, incredibly positive, really strong attendance. Been great to see the students again in classrooms. Been great to feel that energy back in the building. So as you know, we phased people back in. I think that's been very successful. So I thank you very much for your support with that. It's allowed the testing confidence to build in the students and for us to induct them back in to that teaching and learning environment that is our core business. So I've been really impressed with the students. Been great to see them. And been great to see them in front of our teachers, getting used to life in school again. A long time away from school, particularly for Year 10, but a strong start nonetheless. So part of their experience this week, as you know, has been to take part in the testing. Now, we're through the first week. Every student or every year group has certainly completed phase 1 of the testing, and today Year 11 began their second phase of testing. As we go through next week, testing now will be done during the flow of the day. So by this time next week, we should have the majority of students at least partway through their third test. And we're going to try and wrap that up as quickly and safely as possible. So a couple of key details. Firstly, and I suppose most importantly, there have been no positive tests reported. So as we've come back in, as we speak today, no sort of disruption. And I know some colleagues across Cheshire East and certainly across the country have experienced some disruption this week. We're going to shift after the third test to home testing. Now that won't be provided by school. We've had some information from DFE and NHS over the last couple of days, which suggests that early next week we will get detail on what that means. And as soon as I get it, I can pass it over to obviously to all our families. But in the main, student cooperation, engagement, and the flow of testing has been great. Has really helped us, and we'll soon be through this phase of our reopening. Okay, as people have come back in, I've said already in the briefing, a long time away from school for students. So some of our core standards, our fundamental standards and routines now need tightening up. I'm aware that things are different in school than they are out in the community and and at home. So we're going to look at 3 things next week and really ramp it up in terms of expectation. Firstly is phones. Very noticeable throughout the week that more than usual we've had to deal with people using their phone. It's not a surprise. That kind of restriction hasn't existed out there for the majority of people, but from Monday we will be fully applying our normal school rules around mobile phones. Uniform has been good, a long time again away from school means the children at the age we have them grow very quickly. And with the majority of shops being closed, been very difficult, I suppose, for some people to access uniform, shoes, etc. We will help, and we have got a store of uniform, etc. that we can help with, and we've done that throughout this week. But again, we want high standards. We want our young people to be dressed immaculately. So we're going to look at uniform and tidy up standards where they are needed next week. And the last thing is just getting back into that really good habit of being in the right place at the right time. So punctuality to school in the morning. Now, during the autumn term, with restrictions that were, attendance at school was significantly higher than national average. Over the last few days, attendance has been okay. It's been strong, and again, comparatively, it's strong. But we need all our young people in school on time. And you may be aware the message from government now is that attendance at school is apart from people who are shielding, is mandatory. So punctuality, uniform, mobile phones, just so that we can underpin those basic standards and keep the focus firmly on teaching and learning. So that's the core of the messages for this week for the majority of the population. Just to give a heads up for Year 11, we are still working through our centre assessed grade strategy for grade awards in the summer, and now that you're back in, we can easily have that conversation with you. And for Year 9 students, ordinarily at this stage of the year, in early March, mid-March, we would be pretty much there and thereabouts, having presented our curriculum offer for options, GCSE options for September. Obviously that's slightly delayed now, but before we break for Easter on the 1st of April, we'll be at least presenting Year 9 students and parents with a timeline of GCSE choices and what that looks like as we move towards the summer term. So everything in hand, everything under control, just a different time structure around everything. Okay, good to speak to everybody. Really strong start to the week. Look forward to seeing our students in from Monday and speak to you again very soon. Thank you. Have a good weekend.